What's up, guys? This is Chris, and over the past week we've had some crazy events going on, from the whole short squeezes with GameStop and AMC and all the heavily shorted stocks, and the controversy about Robinhood and other brokerages. On top of all that, there's been a lot of calls about regulation. They're trying to silence some of these people like Elon Musk and Chamath, who are billionaires, and they've actually been in support of the whole movement with Wallstreetbets. So Elon had a very busy week. On Tuesday, he first tweeted out just simply "game stunk" along with the Wallstreetbets subreddit, and that sent the stock soaring in after hours, almost 50%. And then after that, he had further tweets about Etsy and about Cyberpunk, which moved the stock price of that game developer up the following day. And lastly, we have just a simple message of hashtag Bitcoin on his Twitter profile, and that sent Bitcoin up about I think $8,000 per Bitcoin. So that was a really significant move. And Elon is obviously not a stranger to controversy and all of his tweeting in the past as well concerning stock prices. So he tweeted infamously that Tesla stock price is too high. Obviously he was trolling. There's a whole thing in the past as well about Tesla, 420 funding secured and everything that went kind of wrong there for Elon. But we have to talk about whether or not this is really market manipulation. So what market manipulation is when someone artificially affects the supply and demand for a security, for example, causing stock prices to rise or fall dramatically. That's very broad and very general, and I think in the court of law, that is not going to hold up by itself. I think that there needs to be something that shows that you're purposely putting out artificial information, like fake information, rumors, etc. Pumping and dumping. This is one example, according to this list here, of market manipulation. And, I would say that he isn't doing that. Now, unless he's really having the intention out there to pump up a stock price to raise it and then sell it off right away to his own benefit, then that's something else entirely. And I don't think that's there, to be honest. Now, this is something that Chamath himself as well, another billionaire investor out here, who tweets now and then about specific companies and companies that he owns himself. Now, you could say that he's pumping the stock price for his own benefit, and I think that really depends if you can actually pin it down to, that's his intention, or whether or not he, just, out of the goodness of his heart wants to share some good information, some good investments that other people can benefit from, but he's still going to hold it long term. And you see this with examples where he's tweeted in the past about MP, a company that he helped bring to the market and he is invested in as well. You have IPOE or SoFi, so in a tweet where he recommended a couple of brokerages that you should replace instead of using Robinhood, SoFi was top of the list, and the stock price immediately the next day moved up almost 30%. And I personally own IPOE myself, and I think that you have to say that, as crazy as it is right now, these times that we're living in, these very influential leaders have the ability to move stock prices. You see Elon Musk here has 44 million Twitter followers, and Chamath has over 1 million Twitter followers. There are going to be people that follow their advice or their suggestions, or in the case of Elon Musk, right, he's not even really suggesting anything explicitly. He's just putting it out there that he likes these certain things. He likes Etsy, he likes Cyberpunk 2077, and he admires Gamestop. I think that this is an overall real big debate and real big discussion we can have here about what can we even do about it, right? There is no real historical precedent to people utilizing social media in such a powerful way and actually getting so many people to follow through on certain things that they mention, even if it's not advice or suggestions, right? You could say the same thing about YouTubers, right? Like myself, that put out content to educate others about financial related stuff, about stocks, and saying that we might recommend a stock, or we might suggest a stock, or just simply that we own this stock and we're giving you our due diligence here, and you can do whatever you want with that information. I think it would set a really dangerous precedent if you try to silence these people, and especially in the climate that we're in right now, this kind of populist movement. And I'm totally for the mission, right? Again, there's been people that have obviously been ruined by institutions and hedge funds and big money ballers, right? And the little people don't really get the benefit of it, or the benefit of the doubt even. There's a lot of people saying that there's evidence of the retail investor colluding and manipulating to silence people like Elon Musk or put some new regulations. What are you going to do with the analysts that issue price targets that move stocks? It's kind of like the same thing. They put out a name. You could do whatever you want with it, but those people historically have happened to be influential. We're only just seeing now. You have people that kind of have nothing to do with the financial space. This is kind of a game changer. There's been people in the past that specifically follow whatever Warren Buffett does as well. Only a lot of the time in those cases, the reaction is very delayed because what they're doing comes out in these quarterly reports, right? When, Warren Buffett tells you, oh, he's buying this stock, he's buying this stock, he's selling this stock, oh, we sold some of this stock, What's the difference there? Where are we going to draw the line? It's a really tricky situation. And then on top of that, you have short sellers. Short sellers issue reports all the time, slamming different companies, accusing them of fraud, right? If we're going to talk about artificially pumping or pushing down a stock price, or putting out fake information that influences other people and induces a panic, where are you going to draw the line there? Because short sellers have been doing this for, I don't know, probably decades, right? The case of Citron Research, who recently gave up on short selling, shout out to you guys. You definitely achieved something there and made a difference. But what he's put in the past is arguably the most market manipulation out there, right? And short sellers, sure, they have a place in the market. You're entitled to do that. But when you accuse certain companies of doing fraud and illegal things, like he did with Shopify in 2017, I remember that very vividly. He called Shopify a fraud, okay, and that they were doing illegal things, and the FTC will, and not even like kind of just speculating. Oh, maybe they will. He said they will investigate Shopify and shut them down basically. And what happened since then? Shopify has gone to the moon, and he tried putting it down again in 2019, saying, oh, this time we're not saying it's a fraud, but we're just saying it's overvalued. If you're gonna just do that, then fine, right? If it's on a valuation basis. But he was wrong there too. And you can look at a couple of other instances as well. There's a stock called GSX. Supposedly there's a ton of fraud going on there. There's been an SEC investigation even into that company, and it still hasn't gone down. And as far as I can tell, there has never been any real punishment or real pushback when a short seller puts out a report and it's totally wrong. There should be regulation as far as that. Kind of putting out, supposed research that, tries to definitively say something is a fraud, when after, maybe let's put a independent investigation or something into it, or you have to have some sort of, process for this matter, because otherwise people are, get away with pushing things down to the downside. If you're going to try to limit people pushing things up to the upside, it just kind of makes sense. So unless they drastically change the whole dynamic of the financial community and investing in general, I don't think that you can really do much about it. For the investors or the commentators that are saying that Elon Musk is doing something really dangerous, Chamath is doing something really dangerous, it's only benefiting themselves. At the end of the day, guys, that has always kind of been the name of the game. You cannot like it, obviously. You can choose to not like the people behind it. If you just happen to not be a fan of Musk or Chamath, but I think that at the end of the day, it's how things have always been, and unless we change everything, and maybe there is some sort of revolution going on here, it's going to stay the way it is. I would really love to see how this unfolds, and if they make the wrong decisions here, I gotta say they're gonna probably piss off even more people and make things worse by doing anything involving, at the end of the day, it's kind of is censorship of free speech, and it's gonna set a definitely dangerous precedent here. So that's my take on the matter. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this as well and your opinions. I know there's a lot of back and forth, pros and cons. There is just no easy way to really fix, if you want to call it a problem, fix this problem. So love to hear your thoughts, guys, on this matter, and until next time, remember to invest responsibly.